All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Offseason. We are live on a Friday. We have got an awesome episode planned for you today. We've got Zach's got some trivia for us. We've got a little NBA and NHL playoff update, and then debuting the Great Debate. We have been cooking up this idea for a while. We're going to add some controversy, maybe a little bit heat to the pod. We're not going to be so friendly here in a minute. Me and Mason are going to be debating. We've cooked up a fun idea, Zach did, that we're going to be picking NFC and AFC Super Bowl champions. We were not allowed to pick the top two contenders in each conference, so it made us have to think, dive deep a little bit, and me and Mason are going to go head-to-head on why we think our team should have won or will win. So that's going to be fun. I can't wait for that because I love arguing. It's my third full-time job is arguing with people on Twitter, so get plenty of reps in on the daily basis. But boys, how we doing?
If you want to be entertained for like a good, couple hours, just go to Tinsley's. I'm hyping you up over here. Shameless plug. Tinsley's Twitter and just go to his replies and the amount of like Jacksonville Jaguar Titan hate, Jacksonville Jaguar hype. Right now, the whole stadium thing was like a big one where people were like, somebody made a comment like, all that money being spent, is that to build a bridge from Jacksonville to London? And you're just like firing back.
Nerd?
So if anybody knows how much he likes to actually debate, this is probably his wheelhouse. Me, not so much, but we're gonna make it work. I got some good points. I got some stats. I'm ready to go. But yeah, I'm interested to see how that's gonna go. How are you doing, Zach? You ready? You ready to
Yeah,
commentate this?
I'm going to moderate the debate today.
Yeah.
I am just a middleman between these two titans of debate today. They have some impassioned ideas. I will say that their team's a little bit lopsided, so we'll see how that. I won't tell you. I'll let them debut it later on, but I think it's going to be a fun little segment. I will say we've been cooking up another segment idea called Bulletin Board Material, where Tins and Mason talk about all their Twitter beefs going on. So be on the lookout for that. Tins is always cooking up something. Like he's always trying to stir up the pot. He's a content machine on the Twitter. So
I'm a reply guy. I have no shame. I pay for the blue check mark, which puts my comment at the top of replies.
Heck yeah.
So I get some engagement farming out of it. I have no shame in saying that either. So yeah, no, I welcome all debates. Any space in any kind of debate, I'm there for it.
I'm the accidental, like I was like, oh yeah, this quarterback's way better than this one, and got into an accidental fight with the fantasy football like community that just like the stats galore. All of a sudden they had all these stats up, like rankings and stat, almost like they were ready for someone to slip up because like a minute later they already had all this stuff, and I was like, I just, and I was like, Tinsley, help me, because I knew he would agree, because it was it was Patrick Mahomes better than Josh Allen was my statement. And they were like just roasting me, like this guy and all these memes and stuff. And they were like, fantasy, we're talking fantasy. And I was like, Tinsley, help me, because I know how much he does not love Josh Allen. And he's like, oh, you're in trouble, big dog. Can't help you there. And so I get into the accidental, like, I just thought I'd throw out a comment. I never do this, just kind of fill in the waters. And I just get like roasted by these people that take it very, nothing beats. I love fantasy football. We've played it how many years? Like over a decade. I've been playing. I accidentally, a quick story, random story, when you had a desktop, could not play fantasy football on your phone. You had to play like on the computer, the big desktop that was like taking up half the living room.
Back when we had real country.
That's right. Nothing beats a good when you had to buy a desk that was made for the desktop. That's where we were at. I signed up for fantasy football, and all of a sudden it charged me $100 and I had to ask my parents, but I was like 15, and I was like, what did I do? I just wanted to play that was my first time playing fantasy football. Was the accidental $100 buy-in fee for fantasy football at the age of 15. But I've always enjoyed it. But these people take it seriously. I'm playing with some right now. We do dynasty leagues, and they are just like on it. They send out 5 billion trades a day in May. I've kind of been doing a little bit of that, but some of these take it very seriously. So not as serious as them. I do not want to pick a fight with Tinsley, and I don't want to pick a fight with these fancy football community. And I've picked a fight with them already in Tinsley in about 15 minutes. So we'll see how that goes.
The more I've been on the internet, like the more I've been on like Twitter and stuff, the more you understand that people who argue on the internet are just people who have like 2 or 3 arguments that they feel really good about that they just use over and over and over and over again in every single circumstance. Like somehow on some of my like Instagram reel feeds, Charlie Kirk keeps popping up on it. He's like one of those, and we're not getting political here today. But he keeps popping up on my Instagram reel feed, and he's very like a conservative kind of guy. He goes on college campuses over and over again and like debates people. And literally, if you watch some of the videos, it's the same exact argument over and over. But he just says something that it's like a pretty good argument that college students don't understand, and then it makes him seem like he's really smart and like everything. But it's literally just he says the same exact like 3 arguments about 3 different topics. And it's just like, well, no one can argue with me. So maybe that's what we should do. Just come up with like 3 stats that are indisputable and then just use them for every single
over and over. Yeah.
Stats can be argued though on Twitter, I promise, because I will share stats with people and then they will proceed to tell me how that doesn't mean anything anymore.
Well, the internet is pretty bad about that. Like you can just say whatever you want. You can have a stat and just roast somebody, and then you can just be like, "Oh yeah, well you're stupid." And then
like I shared a stat how Calvin Ridley was a top 10 receiver in drops last year, and a lot of Titans fans on Twitter like to reply with, "Well, you suck." So I don't. Trevor Lawrence sucks. That's why he dropped footballs. That's not how that works.
Sports always reverts back to like every UT Vols like argument. Like the UT Twitter is famous for going and fighting other people's, and
yes, they are.
The argument literally always comes back to like, if you're a team that's traditionally been good but has not been good lately, you use like the all-time record against the team.
Yes.
Or if you're a team that's been really bad in the past but now is better and has beaten them recently, you use that. So like Tennessee versus Alabama, if they're arguing, the Alabama person will be like, "Oh yeah, well here's this record that's crazy against you in the past 25 years and it's embarrassing." And then the Tennessee fan goes, "Oh, you mean this?" And then it pulls up the scoreboard from the one time we beat them. It's from the field. And it's like, ah. So both sides are like trying to get gotchas, and it's like, okay, yes, both we beat them once and they beat us 100 times, and we could both be right here, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's literally how every like. But then if we're talking to like Vandy fans, then we do the opposite. We pull up the like lifetime series result against Vandy, and then Vandy be like, "Oh yeah, we beat you those 2 years, like 6 years ago. What about that?" Or they'd be like, "Oh yeah, well what about baseball? Or what about that?" So that's just the college. Or what's happening recently is Tennessee's has gotten pretty good at basketball and baseball, and so we'll be like, "We won the basketball, baseball, SEC tournament," and then be like, "What about football?" So then it just becomes cyclical. So the only way you have an argument is if you're good at every single sport forever. You're never allowed to lose, or else they have something against you now.
Or else you're trash.
You were always, unless that one time. Yeah.
So unless you're a UConn basketball fan, like that's the only team you could be a fan of.
Or like UCLA back when they won like 10 championships in a row. Like I mean, yeah. Tennessee, Kentucky have those interactions are some of the funniest because for so long it's been Kentucky's better at basketball, Tennessee beats them at football, and it just goes back and forth.
Right.
And those arguments are just like nonsensical completely. Like you can take any stat from any year and make it go your way if you want it to. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to argue with each other on nonsensical stats. Okay, before we do that, I have a couple of little. I actually have a new segment I'm debuting today. I didn't tell the boys about this, but it's going to be the second trivia. The first one is about NBA though. I saw this and it was pretty interesting, and so this is one where we're going to take turns and see how far we can get down this list. So this is in honor of the NBA playoffs happening right now. And this is about the NBA MVPs. In the history of the NBA, there have been 8 players who have won the MVP of the league and has never won an NBA Finals championship. 8 players who are MVPs but have never won a championship. I will say all of them are pretty like standard names. There's no weird ones on this. Like you should know all of them, I think. Okay. Mason, you feel good about this?
Yeah, I already got some.
Okay. Mason,
ideas.
you go first. Who do you got?
I'm going to go Steve Nash.
Correct. He won MVP in 05 and 06. But
Never
not a championship. Steve Nash.
With Shaquille, never won a championship. Yep. Okay.
What a bummer.
All right. Joel
Tim.
Embiid.
Correct. He won in 2023. Has not won a championship. Never will. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Philadelphia fans.
Okay, Mason.
Oh no, I just thought of one that is not true. I was gonna say Kevin Durant, but obviously he won one with the Warriors. But outside of that, he is not. Shoot! Did Chris Paul win an MVP?
No.
James Harden.
Correct. 2018 MVP. No championship.
Derrick Rose.
Correct.
Popping
career
off.
cut
That's a good
too
one.
Short.
Yes.
He's still in the league.
Could have been. Yeah.
But he could have been an all-time guy.
Bummer.
Okay,
we're halfway there. We got 4 left.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else we got.
You have, I would say one more is from the modern era, and then the rest are a little bit older. But one
Tracy
is from
McGrady. Did he win an MVP?
He is not on this list.
Dang. Let's see.
Patrick Ewing.
Yao Ming.
Oh no, he did not win MVP. I don't think.
Wow. Oh my gosh, what's his name? I'm going to like early.
I'm opening the floor up.
Do what?
I'm opening the floor to just any names.
Okay, I think that's what we're doing here.
Karl Malone.
Correct. 97
nice.
and 99.
Got him and Ewing mixed up there. That sucks.
Yeah.
Dang it. Is that the oldest one, or is it even more?
That is the oldest. That's the oldest.
Okay.
Nope, it's not the oldest. There's one more.
Bill
Sorry,
Walton?
There's one more. He's not on this list. There's one older than Karl Malone is 97, 99. There was one from 1993.
What's his name? Everybody look at me. No.
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller? Oh.
No, he never won.
I'll say one of them just ended a run on a legendary NBA broadcast, or is ending a run soon.
Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley. That's the oldest.
I didn't know he won an MVP.
93.
Was that one of the years MJ was suspended? Retired playing baseball?
Oh, wow. Conspiracy corner?
Conspiracy with Tinsley.
Think about
another segment idea.
Okay.
I've been working on that one.
You have 2 left. You have one that's from 2017 and then one from 2001.
Okay.
No. I was trying to think of any of them that was on the Celtics
Oklahoma
team.
City Thunder.
Oh, Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook.
2017.
Don't let him hear that. He'll kick me out.
Last one, 2001, point guard.
Point guard.
Allen Iverson,
Correct. Allen Iverson.
Oh yeah.
76ers.
76ers. Shout
Never.
out.
I should have knew that one.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
that was
it.
a fun little exercise there. How many were you keeping score? I think I only
No.
got 2.
We're keeping score on the
Okay.
next game though.
Oh, great.
Okay. So next game. This is starting my new segment. It's called "Are You Smarter Than AI?"
Oh boy.
So I've started consulting AI. I've started digging into the Chat GPT world a little bit. The first thing I did when I was looking into it is I asked I asked it what the in its opinion who are the top 10 NBA players of all time. I wanted to
Ooh.
stir up some controversy.
I love
Most of
this.
them are pretty. This is not what we're going to do for our thing. I will say it. Who do you think it has as number 1?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Correct. Yeah. LeBron is 2.
Wrong.
Maybe we'll do that eventually. I'll keep the rest. Okay, so this next one is, I thought it was pretty interesting. We've talked a lot about NFL stadiums. I know that both of our teams are undergoing some pretty big stadium projects in the next couple of years. And so here's the game. I have pulled the 10 NFL stadiums that are closest geographically to Nissan Stadium in Nashville. So the like mileage. So I've got them in order from how many miles, or how many miles away they are from the Nissan Stadium. So I'm gonna have you go back and forth, and you're gonna pick which stadiums you think are the closest to Nissan Stadium. If you Let's do 4 each. I'm gonna
Okay.
add up your miles, and whichever person has the least number of miles is going to win.
This is the winner. I like
Wow.
that.
Do we have to go back and forth?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So you want to pick the closest ones, obviously, because it's less miles away.
Okay.
But obviously, let's
Obviously.
say if you pick outside of the top 10, immediate disqualification,
Okay.
Wow.
or else add 10,000 miles to your number.
Okay. Love it.
I like it.
Okay. I'm gonna have to keep track somehow. I'll figure it out. All right, here we go. Who wants to go first? I'm trying to figure it. Maybe we'll do a snake draft style, so it's neither one of you has an advantage. No,
That
let's not
might
do
be
that.
good.
Okay, snake draft. Mason's first.
Dang it. Okay. I'm going to obviously go with Atlanta.
Correct. Atlanta
Right.
is 214 miles from Nissan Stadium. So let me get this scoreboard going. So Mason has 214. Tins.
All right. I'll be going with the Indianapolis Colts and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Indianapolis Colts are 287. That is the second closest. And who's your next one?
Cincinnati Bengals.
Ooh, that's the third closest. So you guys have hit 1, 2, and 3 so far. So that's 290, 287.
Stadium tour pays off for how we have
That's
planned
literally
it.
what we've been doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Maybe this was an easy for you guys. Maybe it'll get interesting though here.
I
I'm
think
gonna
it's
go.
interesting after this one.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna
Okay,
go
Mason?
with the Carolina Panthers.
The Carolina Panthers are
Further than I thought? Question mark? No.
it shouldn't be.
Is it not
But
on
they're
this
also
list?
on my list. But ChatGPT could have messed up. Okay, hey God, I gotta check this now. I gotta fact check.
Okay, well,
What's
can I go? Yeah, go ahead.
wait, what's the Panthers stadium called? Do we know?
We went to it.
No.
It's not something
It's a
bank, is
bank.
it?
Yeah, it's something bank. American Bank Stadium, maybe.
American Bank. I don't think that's it.
Bank of America Stadium, 800 South Mint Street, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay,
I love how we're just doing this on the pod.
Guys, we're fine.
That was pretty
405
close.
miles is what mine says. Okay.
Wow,
I'm gonna let that
ChatGPT
one.
was wrong. I guess AI is
I'm
not
gonna let
ready to
that
take
one
us over
slide.
yet.
Okay. So after 2 rounds, Mason is at 619. Tins is at 577. It's a barn burner. Okay. So Tins, you're
All right.
up to bat.
Wait,
No,
I got a
Mason's
back to
up to bat.
back.
Yeah, he's
Sorry.
got back to back.
I'm gonna go with. I feel like Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. Kansas City Chiefs is 540 miles.
Okay,
540 miles.
I feel pretty good because so far
There's a
my
couple
mind
that
went.
it says are shorter,
Oh, okay.
but it's okay. So you're at 11:59 now, Mason. Tins?
All right. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville.
It says Jacksonville's only 414 miles. Is that right? It feels like not very many miles.
From Nashville. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
wait, what? It says 400.
Yeah. Is that wrong? I don't know.
I don't know. It's like an 8-hour drive.
Yeah, okay, maybe. I'll believe it.
Okay, and then I'll go Tampa.
Tampa is
Oh, that was stupid. Actually,
it's not on my list. We've learned that my list could be flawed.
Disqualification.
Said go. This has become more math than I was expecting. See now, how am I going to look this up?
It's easy. We just look up Tampa Bay and type in your maps.
678 miles.
678.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad. Okay,
So
that's
that was his
the
4,
tens is
right?
done now. Yeah. So Mason, this is your last one, and then I'll crunch some numbers and see who won.
Okay, so I'm gonna go New Orleans Saints. Not on your list?
There's some that you guys that it says are much closer that you guys haven't said yet. We'll go over them in a second.
And then I'm gonna go with. I felt like our Washington drive was.
Wasn't that your last one?
Yes.
Yeah, that was your.
Oh, was it? Oh, was Washington closer? I bet
I'll
you
tell you the ones
Washington
that
or
I have are
Philadelphia.
closer.
Okay.
Anybody got a New Orleans Saints?
607.
Okay, so that's not bad.
Well, that's from crap. That was from here in
Dead
Cookville.
vomit. This is good podcasting, guys.
This is where we
Okay.
take off.
Tins is up.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty close actually. But Tins is gonna win.
I think your list was crazy.
My list could have been crazy. I was trusting Jet.
I think we did just hit like the 8 closest.
Okay, so this says Soldier Field is only 473 miles. Chicago.
You know what? Chicago. Yep, that would have made sense.
We still need to go there. Green Bay.
Green Bay's pretty.
It says Lambeau Field is only 661. It says Detroit is actually only 534. Ford Field. Detroit, Michigan. And then it said,
he beat me and he had Tampa Bay on his list.
It says Houston is only 665.
Houston seems like such a long drive.
Houston's a 13-hour drive from here, so 12 hours from Nashville.
I mean, well, Jacksonville was 440 or 414. It said 8 hours, so that makes sense if it's 660 miles. Ooh. 660 miles from Houston. There's too many numbers, guys. Okay, that was not a good segment.
I thought it was great. I want to recount. That's it. We're going to spend the next 30 minutes.
Mid. I should have had you argue with ChatGPT about the best NBA players of all time.
Now that I could do.
Okay, we'll save it.
I'm ready for that one.
Dadgummit foiled me again. What is AI good for?
Nothing.
All right. Let's do
that does make sense. I don't. Those up north teams are closer than we think. I think it's just we haven't really wanted to travel up there.
It also had Minnesota on there. I think it was the last one. U.S. Bank Stadium is 820 miles, but that one's a good bit further.
Houston has to be further than that. That's my only gripe with the whole list.
So you had Minnesota was on that list, but New Orleans wasn't.
I was assuming that it was putting them in order, but I don't know that it actually did. That was my mistake.
I guess Houston is 856 miles from my house.
So yeah, you subtract the 100 from here to
60
Nashville, and
miles
it's
from
a little
Nashville.
closer. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So does that mean we take a road trip to Houston for our next stadium tour?
Jacksonville plays them week 3. What? Who said things out loud?
All right. We're debating, everybody. So here's how the debate's going to go. So the idea of the debate was we wanted to debate some teams that maybe are not the favorites for this year. We don't want anybody debating that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. No one cares about that. Unless you have a future on the Kansas City Chiefs, potentially. Or you're a Swiftie.
I don't
Who
yet.
thinks Taylor Swift's going to attend 14 of the 16 regular season games or whatever.
Shout out the NFL schedule makers for making it happen for her.
Shout out. So what we're going to do here is Mason and Tenza both picked an NFC team that they think could represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. These teams are not the top 2 teams. The top 2 teams were the 49ers and the Detroit Lions. So these are What?
Shout out the Lions.
Yeah, Lions are on the come up, apparently. Some wild stuff there.
I'm going to say they're probably going to be everyone's Super Bowl pick over the summer. Like, they'll be the air quotes dark horse to win the Super Bowl.
I think the dark horse in the Super Bowl is going to be the Ravens. I feel like the Ravens are like, I don't know why. I just feel like I've heard a lot about the Ravens this offseason. Derrick Henry.
I've heard some not good things.
Maybe it's just because Derrick Henry is there. Maybe that's right. I don't know.
Lamar Jackson losing weight.
Things?
Yeah, he's lost a lot of weight. He dropped about 15 pounds.
Weird.
He said it's to make him faster. He's also going to get hurt now.
Okay, this is not about the Ravens. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, Lions. So Lions and 49ers off the table. From the AFC, this will be next week coming up, but that would take the Chiefs and the Ravens off the table as well. So those teams are not able to be talked about. Anyone else's fair game, though. So we're going to do this in a couple of segments. I'm going to give each person some opening statement time. I'm not going to time you unless you start going way long. Then I'm going to cut you off. So Mason apparently has a book of stats he's brought with him. So he starts getting stat heavy. I'm cutting you off.
Cutting me off. Done. All right.
I ain't got a single
0 stats. It's 5s from 10s. But we're going to do opening statements first. Present the team that you chose. And then we're going to give you some time to present your main arguments. Then we're going to give you time to dissect your opponent's argument. And maybe throw some shade at that person's team that they picked. You're trying to convince us, the listeners, that your team has a legitimate shot at making the Super Bowl this season out of the NFC. Do they feel good?
Feel
great.
Okay. Mason went first for the game, so I'm going to let Tinsley go first for opening statements. Opening remarks. Tins, you have the floor.
All right. Hello, everyone. No, I'm not doing any of that. All right, so here we go. I have picked the Arizona Cardinals at plus 10,000. The reason I picked this team is no one wants to hear me talk about the Cowboys, the Eagles, none of these teams with these plus 1,200. No return on your investment there. That's stupid. It is the month of May, almost June. You're listening to a podcast talk about some futures in the NFL. We might as well take some large return on investment type swings. And I've got it right here for you. The Cardinals. Now, this is a team that's picked in the top 10 the last 2 years. They've had a little bit of a downswing. Kyler Murray dealt with a very serious ACL injury. But before that, I think people seem to forget that the guy was playing at an MVP level. His team had started 7-0 in the 2021 season. Everyone was hyping him up. And then that fateful match against the Ravens, they lost, and then he tore his ACL soon after that. But this was a guy who was seemingly like was turning it around and becoming the top 10 quarterback he was projected to be when he was drafted first overall. Now this is going to be the second year in this offensive system, second year under head coach Rich Gannon, who is the defensive guru for the Eagles. That is the reason the Eagles even went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, was because of that squad right there. I don't care what you have to say about Jalen Hurts and the offense. That defense was elite, and he was the guy who was coaching that team up on the defensive side of the ball. Kyler Murray did miss the first 7 weeks of the year last year, coming back from the ACL injury, which is what put his team in position to have such a bad record. When he did come back, he was a top 10 fantasy quarterback. Shout out Mason. Loves talking about fantasy quarterbacks. But this, I mean, he put up top 10 fantasy quarterback numbers each week without a true number one wide receiver. They also have the 24th easiest strength of schedule this year. So teaming that up with a full season of having Kyler Murray healthy, young offensive weapons in Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, who was everyone's favorite tight end pickup last offseason in free agency. He was a big playmaker, and him and Kyler seem to have chemistry right off the bat. Now having Kyler fully healthy, you should be able to see him get more run yards this year. I think he'll go back to running more, which makes him a dynamic weapon. They've got a two-headed monster in Trey Benson and James Conner at running back. And
okay,
they didn't really
wrap it up.
Yeah,
this is opening statements. Opening statements. Save it.
This is opening.
This is just the
soft
opening.
schedule. Soft
Oh
schedule.
my gosh.
Soft
Also,
schedule.
Mr.
Soft
No
schedule.
Stats over here.
I like
those
how
those were mostly opinions.
I like how his very first remark was Kyler Murray suffered a terrible ACL injury.
He did 2 years ago, but now he's back, baby.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
The division got weaker. The division got weaker.
I can't
Cardinals
mute
are
you.
I can't meet you.
Okay. Mason.
All
Big
right.
stuff from the Cardinals plus 10,000. I can't wait to see your Mason pick.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I, Mason Trentle, picked a team that fell 3 points short in the divisional round of the playoffs last year. A team that blew out the Dallas Cowboys the round before. A team that has the 10th best odds to win the Super Bowl at plus 1,900, according to DraftKings, and that team is the Green Bay Packers. That's my opening statement. Should I continue? Continue?
You're going to save some meat for the next round?
I got a couple of things. Green Bay became the youngest team to win a playoff game since the 1970 NFL-AFL merger. Average age of 25 years and 214 days. Got some youth, overachieved with that youth. So feeling pretty confident about it. Yeah, let's one last thing. Who's the quarterback? Jordan Love, 6th best odds to win MVP. Balled out last year. I'll touch on some of those stats in a minute.
Okay. Short and sweet. I think Tim's already laid out most of his argument here.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so those are opening remarks. Tins, you can at least summarize. You can add anything you didn't want to add yet. Soft schedule. Okay.
No, I mean, yeah, soft schedule. All right, so listen, the NFC to me is very weak in general. There's a few teams that you could maybe are going to pencil in as for sure playoff teams. That's probably the 49ers, the Eagles, and the Lions. Outside of that, all 4 of the other spots are wide open. That's where I think Kyler Murray can lead a team, get in the wild card, get hot at the right time, and make a playoff run. Your Green Bay Packers over here, that I don't know why you're taking a team with plus 1,900 when they have 4 teams. The whole division is good.
Tins, you're not trashing on the Packers yet. It's next round.
Why?
This is you hyping up the Cardinals.
The Cardinals have fine. That's fine. That's what we want to do. They went and signed Jonah Williams to start at right tackle. That solidifies their whole offensive line now. They have got top tier talent, all 5 positions, 2 starting running backs, a good rookie wide receiver, and Trey McBride coming into his second year with a defense full of veteran players. This is a team that's now well balanced, had a good end of the year last year, and a second year in the same offensive system for Kyler Murray. I think he's going to take off and get back to his MVP form. Those are all my bright spots for the Cardinals. I have plenty of bad things to say about the Packers.
Maybe they should be which quarterback has a better chance of winning the MVP, Jordan Love or Kyler Murray?
Jordan Love has the better odds.
I do have that stat, by the way, whenever we're ready. I can't say anything about the Cardinals yet because I'm a rule follower and I will follow the rules here.
Mason. Lay out your argument for us.
Jordan Love, 4,159 passing yards last season. That was 7th most in the league last year. 32 touchdowns. That was 2nd behind Dak Prescott last season. 11 interceptions. Key
Where'd that
off-season.
rank? Where'd the 11 interceptions rank?
Mute them right now. What are you talking about? The Cardinals weren't even in the playoffs last season.
Okay.
I'm just asking a question. You talked about how Jordan Love ranked 2nd in touchdown passes. Let me know where he ranked in interceptions.
Somebody mute that guy. Okay.
Well, I actually looked up interceptions, but it gives you anybody that has made a passing attempt. So a wide receiver, a running back, a backup quarterback, a 3rd string quarterback. So I could not find that stat. So if you can find
tied for 104th.
What?
I don't think that's the number.
I think that's a good stat. That's what it shows.
Please.
Tied 104.
Yes, because I'm talking about starting quarterbacks. It's probably literally has every single player that's ever made an attempt. 104. Think about how many starting quarterbacks there are. There's 32.
It's probably pretty good. I was trying to compliment Jordan Love right there.
Okay, real quick. Let me finish. I got interrupted. Does he get points taken off?
Yeah.
Off-season additions. Packers signed the market's best safety, Xavier McKinney. Packers also got younger. One of the ones that was most available, Tinsley. Packers got younger at running back. Packers swapped out Aaron Jones, 29, will turn 30 in December, for Josh Jacobs, 26 years old. Jacobs is coming off an injury, but we can't forget how dominant he was. Just 2 years ago, Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing yards and yards from scrimmage. So maybe upgraded. Still have AJ Dillon, 1-2 punch. They got some young but decent. I will not lie about it. Young, maybe upcoming wide receivers when it comes to Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, all that. So there you go. That is my statement.
You will not lie about it.
I will not lie about it.
He refuses to lie. I'll say Jordan Love is tied for 16th most interceptions in the year last year. But
thank you. That's all.
Also including people like Ryan Tannehill and Josh Dobbs in that list, who only played a couple of games. So
that's the only issue. Yeah,
ranking interceptions is hard. I understand what Mason's saying.
Thank you.
Okay. So Tins, now is your time to respond to some of the arguments you heard, poke some holes in Mason's arguments. Why do you think the Green Bay Packers are not going to make the Super Bowl this next season?
All right. I like the Green Bay Packers. I think they could very well be a playoff team, but they face one of the toughest schedules in the NFL this year. They have one of the strongest divisions when you look at the Lions being a top 2 team favorite for the Super Bowl, and the upstart Bears, who should be better under Caleb Williams, but that's remained to be seen. Their defense is at least very good. And the Vikings are a well-rounded team with a new game manager at quarterback, and they still have Justin Jefferson. So as long as they can get someone to throw him the ball, that's still a dangerous team. Their schedule did rank, I saw, as sixth hardest in the NFL. They've got a lot of travel this year where their travel adds up to where they travel a lot of miles, and they have a very big discrepancy in the rest days versus teams that they're playing. So if you follow Warren Sharp, that's a big deal that he likes to make. I don't really like all the ads that you talked about in free agency. McKinnon is a good safety, not a great safety, but he is more of a box line of scrimmage safety guy. He's not known for forcing turnovers, and that's what they're going to be asking him to do, playing single high coverage. Losing Aaron Jones and David Bakhtiari off your team, not only do you lose two guys that are good players, but you're losing leadership. This is the youngest team in the NFL. You lost two guys that Aaron Jones has been the heart and soul of that team for a long time. Even with Aaron Rodgers there, Aaron Jones was the guy that everyone leaned on. The fans loved him, and you replaced him with a guy who's a one-year wonder in the NFL. Josh Jacobs, yes, he led the league in rushing yards and scrimmage yards, but that was a team that literally had nothing going on but him. And then you saw what happened last year where he dealt with injuries all year. And that's what he was for most of his career before then. He was an injury-prone running back. So you let Aaron Jones leave to give Josh Jacobs a big contract. I think that was a terrible trade-off. And now David Bakhtiari's gone, and you've drafted a second-round player to be your new starting left tackle, one of the hardest positions in football.
Got him.
All right.
That hurt, Mason.
Do I get to rebuttal?
Yeah, you can rebut anything he said, and you can also talk about the Cardinals if you like.
Xavier McKinney was one of 4 NFL players to have 100-plus tackles, 3 interceptions, 10 pass defense, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery.
It's not a great thing when your safety's leading the league in tackles. It means your front seven's bad, and he's just having to clean it up.
And you said that we were in the toughest division. Your division that the Cardinals are in. Also, I get to no interruption. Mute him.
Okay, mute. Okay, after Mason finishes his, then you can both argue with each other.
His division that the Cardinals are in. All the other 3 teams except for the Cardinals had a winning record. Seahawks 9-8, Rams 10-7, 49ers in the Super Bowl, by the way, 12-5. And he's over here hyping up how tough my division was. We have JJ McCarthy throwing quarterback in our division, and we know how much you don't like him. So, yeah, there you go. Thank you. Last couple stats that I had real quick. Let me go to it. I already talked about Jordan Love's 6th best odds to win MVP. Kyler Murray, 19th best odds to win MVP. Guess who has the same odds? Caleb Williams, that hasn't even thrown a single pass yet, has the same odds as Kyler Murray. Get wrecked. Thank you, Zach. Let's see what else.
Can't take it wrecked unless I'm allowed to say something back.
I can't trash on Kyler Murray's stats because he was out a majority of it. So I can't be like this worst whatever, because he was literally out for an injury. I do like him as a player. I've said on Mike before that I thought the Cardinals were going to go to Super Bowl several years ago. So
where could you find that at?
I do remember that.
Where can you find those recordings?
That did not age well. So
did not age well. You're correct. All right, that's my statement.
Okay, now you have 2 minutes to talk between yourselves. You can argue whatever you want.
Oh, no,
all I want to say is, the division was hard they have a tough division. That's great and all. The 49ers have gotten worse. They've lost 3 starters off of their defense, and they've lost 2 offensive linemen. You've got Brandon Ayuk, who's going to be a distraction now because he's demanding a trade without demanding a trade. He's not going to show up. He's going to hold out during training camp. It's going to throw the whole offense off. What else? Let's see. The Rams lost their best player on the whole team in Aaron Donald. So that defense and their whole defensive coaching staff and offensive coordinator are all gone. They've all left to go be the Falcons coaching staff. They lost Raheem Morris, who's the head coach of the defense. He's not just defensive coordinator. Sean McVay has literally said, I don't handle the defense. That's Raheem Morris's job. So I feel like there's going to be some regression. And then the Seahawks, Geno Smith's your starting quarterback. I'm not worried about it.
Okay, but you still can't say my division has 2 rookie quarterbacks in it, Caleb Williams and JJ McCarthy. Both of them will be starting off they don't have unless Sam Darnold starts, they're
you have the youngest team in the NFL. Jordan Love is now counted on as being the leader of the whole franchise. He doesn't have a guy like Aaron Jones that he can lean on and be like, hey, how do we get through this tough stretch of games? What do we do? How do I lead the guys? Like, no, it's now Jordan Love. Like, he is now
Josh Jacobs is there.
Team. Josh Jacobs, fresh, new on the team. He's not some leadership guy. He's not been a Green Bay Packer for 6-7 years.
Okay, I was going to look up one more thing about the defense rankings because I was curious to see what the rankings between the two were because I don't remember the Cardinals. I feel like the Cardinals...
It would be bad versus bad. They were both bad.
Checkmate.
The Packers fired their defensive coordinator. He was so bad.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give each of you 30 seconds to make your closing arguments. We will leave it up to the people to decide. The ball in their court. I don't know. Maybe the people are deciding. Okay.
People's court.
Since Tens went first, I think Mason should get the last word. So, Tens, you have exactly 30 seconds from right now, and I'm cutting you off.
All right, great. Listen, all I'm asking for is a chance. You jump on the birds, jump on the bandwagon of these Cardinals. Kyler Murray is going to have a bounce back season, just like he did at the end of the year when he came back from injury. Fly Cardinals fly in a weak NFC.
Wow.
24th easiest schedule.
Packers are playing in the same weak NFC though,
but their AFC matchup cross conference is harder than the Cardinals.
Okay, time's up. Mason, your final thoughts, and we're wrapping it up.
I'm not asking you to pick a team that drafted third in the NFL draft because of how bad their record was. I'm asking you to pick a team that was 3 points away from beating the 49ers in another game to get to the Super Bowl. That's how close they were. So just think about how close they were with the youngest team in the NFL with that head coach constantly going to make improvements. Yeah, you keep that mic muted over there. With a passionate fan base, probably one of the best home field advantages out there. Give me the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, that offense improved over by the way, they drafted offensive lineman.
Time's up. You're done.
Yeah, you're drafting offensive lineman, second round player to start at left tackle. Hardest position.
All right, everyone's done. Okay, arguments closed. It's up to the people. Let America decide.
And you're telling me
that's why they play the game. Okay. Okay, great debate, guys. I don't know who I've decided on after. I was given a lot of information in a short amount of time. I feel like you guys just talked about all of their division rivals a lot. Division schedules.
We did do that.
I guess that's a lot of their games. But okay. Great work. Great debate.
Thank you, everybody. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys for listening to this week's episode. Zach already teased what he's going to be talking about on Mess Around Monday. You do not want to miss it. It's hilarious. We were laughing about it. He's cooking. Let him cook. He's been back. Everything's going well. Like, he's ready to go on this Mess Around Monday. So we are ready to crush that. Thank you guys. You have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next time.